This is Estevao. This 18-year-old has currently taken Europe by storm, recently becoming just the third teenager ever behind Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe to score in his first 3 Champions League starts. And judging by his heat map here, he is your classic winger. And so in this video, we're going to dive into some individual analysis to discover what actually makes him such a talent, whilst also discovering how you as a player might be able to add this into your own game, or how you as a coach can understand the technical details of a winger, or just how you as a fan and a lover of the game can learn to analyse these moments for yourself. And just saying before I kick things off, I have a course which helps you understand football tactics in just 7 days. Go and check it out below. But now, let's dive into some proper analysis. Now, in my opinion, there are 3 key things that a winger needs. Number 1 is awareness. Number 2 is skill. And number 3 is technique. And if the player can master these 3 things, you will have a very good winger on your hands. And these are all things that we are going to look at from Estevao in this analysis. So firstly, here is Estevao marked up here in the spotlight. And this is from the Chelsea versus Barcelona game where, of course, he dominated proceedings going forward. And Chelsea really wanted to get the ball to him at every single opportunity because he was just that good. But let's dive into some detail. So you'll see in this image first, he is about to receive the ball in a wide zone on the pitch, okay? But it's not just about the ball going to him. He's going to do something which allows him to receive it properly, okay? And we're going to look at that first. Here, okay? He does not touch that ball with his left foot, his strong left foot. He actually lets that ball run across his body and he touches it with his right foot. And this simply allows his body to stay open towards the defender. And it means, it tells the defender that, mate, I can still go both directions. Because if he wants to touch it with his, closest foot on the outside of the left foot, he's kind of closing off the angle already. And he's kind of telling the defender, I'm going to cut inside here. Okay, so that's the first little bit of technical detail that I want you to try and spot as we go through this, okay? Now, moving it on, of course, he's going to dribble forward and get closer to the defender. And I'm just going to stop it here. And this is where timing makes all the difference. Because, we see wingers cut inside all the time. And any winger can cut inside. That doesn't make you a good winger. But cutting inside at exactly the right moment does. And you'll notice his decision to cut in here is based on what the defender is doing with his feet. Okay, now whether Estevao means to cut in at this moment because of the defender is a different question. But from my eyes, analysing this here, his decision was timed perfectly because you see the defender's right leg here. So before he was running side by side with him, okay? And he actually cuts in when the defender is moving forward with that right leg. So he's about to plant that right leg on the ground. And you'll already see his body shape he's almost not facing Estevao anymore, okay? It's like he's turning to face the byline. And this makes it way more difficult for the defender to pivot back into an inside position when Estevao cuts inside. Because if he was planting his left foot and he cuts inside, then his body is going to be open to the attacker and he's probably going to have a better chance of getting back at him, okay? But we're going to move it on here. And now we'll look at this, okay? Look at his body position now. He's almost on the ground. He's almost sat him down on the ground. That's how perfectly timed it was. So now we can see the defender is not in a very good body position at all. He's completely off balance. But also notice that Estevao takes more touches, okay? Often you see it a lot with wingers cutting inside. They take one big touch and then they try and get the shot away. Yes, that can work in certain situations, but when you are in tight areas like this, well, watch what Estevao does here. He takes one smaller touch just to set himself and tell the defender, look, mate, you've left that space open. I'm going to go into it. And then if I just move it on, and there's your second touch, okay? So in the space of, less than half a second, he's taken 2 smaller touches of the ball. This gives him more control over the ball, and it stops this defender marked up here with the red circle from getting any sort of contact on it, okay? And it makes his job a lot harder. And so if the touch was heavier, it gives this player a much better chance at making a tackle. And that's all because Estevao was being aware of the situation, knowing that he had another defender coming on to him who was possibly going to get that ball back. And now we just play it on further. You'll see here, he's gotten past his first defender. He uses his body to protect the ball, and that's going to be very important later on in the video. So body to protect the ball, And he's always, you can see here, he's kept the ball on his right side. He's not shifted it to his left foot to get it on a stronger foot, because that's where the defender is. He's kept that distance between the ball and the defender's foot, and his shot, 64 miles an hour it was, high into the roof of the net, which is what you want to do from a near angle. Because remember, the keeper will be covering his near post most likely. But he will also expect the ball to be, played towards his feet. It's very rarely that players find that top corner where the keeper just can't react quickly enough to get his hand up. And what a goal this was, by the way, from Estevao. So let's move on to the next clip here. Here's Estevao, again, in a wide position, because he is a winger. Okay, and we're going to, again, focus on some awareness here. Okay, now, it's very important with wingers to maintain a big enough distance between yourself and the opposing fullback or other player who might be marking you. Okay, and you can see that here, and you can see as our player on, he actually maintains that distance. Okay, it can be very easy to get attracted to the ball in this situation, to run inside and get closer to the defender. But he doesn't want that, okay? Because he wants that ball to be played into his path, and he wants it to be so when he receives it, he's got enough space and time to do what he needs to do with the ball. Because if he was, I don't know, maybe 5 yards closer here, firstly, that's a lot of a harder pass to make into him. Secondly, that defender can get to him a lot quicker, and he's got less time to think about what he wants to do. Okay, and so the ball goes into him, and now you can see the amount of space and time. The defender isn't set at all, and Estevao has got his first touch on the ball. This gives him the room to manipulate the ball away from the defender. Again, you can see that defender off balance. And again, he uses those little touches to keep the ball under control, which is, I think it's become a trademark of his. I've not seen a player dribble like this in a long, long time. So that is another very important point. Distance between yourself and the fullback. And again, we see Estevao here in a wide position. Okay, this is for Brazil during one of their international matches, and we're going to touch on the same thing: distance between the fullback and the winger. Again, we're gonna spot why it's so important. Here, the distance is a lot closer, but I want you to see the adjustment that Estevao makes, because again, it's very intelligent and it gives him enough room to do what he needs to do. Now, as soon as this player receives the ball, that is almost his trigger. It acts as his trigger to pull back a little bit, because he knows now with his open body position here, okay, he's nice and open to the play. He knows now that there is a chance that Estevao could receive the ball like that. And so he's got to make the room before the ball comes into him to allow that to happen. But this is where it's slightly different, okay? So the player on the ball doesn't actually choose that option, and that's, it's football. Things won't always happen the way you expect them to. But the way that Estevao uses its movement here is really clever. So he's actually going to run inside and make a movement inside as this defender here is going to step up, okay? You'll see as he steps up towards this man, because he thinks he's going to receive it, he's going to leave a little space in there for that passing lane and that ball to be played through. And also spot how he stays on the blind side of his man. This is just going to make it even harder for the defender. And so when that ball gets across him like this, okay, this defender is still not going to be able to phase Estevao before he finally, turns his body round and it's too late. And then you'll see here, the ball's played through perfectly, perfect way to pass, and it's an easy finish for Estevao. Now moving on to this game. Again, most of you probably will have seen this game, Chelsea versus Liverpool. Estevao got the goal in the last minute, but again, it's key distance between the fullback and the winger, okay? Because he in this position has got to be expecting that ball to come in the box. And if he's too narrow here, if he's too central, then he might not be able to cover the ground quick enough to get over to that ball that he is expecting to come in the box. And you'll see, because he was, in a wider position, he is able to latch on to the end of that ball. If he was more central here and Chelsea didn't have any width, that ball would have sailed right through and Chelsea wouldn't have got the winner. Now here's another one. Again, space to receive between the winger and the fullback. But Estevao uses his dribbling ability here to very good effect, and we're going to have a look at it. Now again, as he touches this ball, as he receives the pass from Malo Gusto, notice how, again, he takes his first touch across his body. He doesn't touch it with the outside of his left foot, which is his stronger foot. He actually touches it with his right foot. And this sets him in a better position with his body to then, attack the fullback. And notice on his second touch here, how
he's being very direct. He is going towards that fullback, okay? If in another scenario, he was to touch the ball and then dribble out here, okay? That might work. I've seen wingers do it. But by doing that, okay, you're making it easier for this defender to track you, okay? But if you run at him directly, like this, again, it means you can go either way. You have two different exits on that defender.
And so that is another quality that wingers need, to be, direct in certain situations. It's no wonder why you hear coaches say, be direct all the time.
And so I just move it on slightly, and this is where the skill aspect comes into it. Now, it's not about just throwing fancy little flicks around. The best skillers in the game do it with effectiveness and they do it with intention. And every skill that they do, most of the time, is for a reason. So you'll see here, in this moment, Balde here will always be expecting Estevao to cut in on his left foot, of course. He knows he's left-footed, he's got that information already in his head before the game. And so that'll be playing on his mind a little bit. Estevao uses that to his advantage here, okay? We can see, let me try and zoom it in a little bit more here. Perfect, look at that. He makes a little feint with his left foot, and that is signaling to the defender who is tracking him that he might go that way. And now we're going to see the reaction time of this defender about when he actually reacts to that movement, because it doesn't happen instantly. It actually happens a second later. And we can see the impact of this. We look at now, he's created that half a yard that he needs to be able to get that ball into the box. Because Balde, what he's done is he's very close to his attacker. He's dropped back a little bit as Estevao has done that feint, and that has given Estevao that half a yard he needs to get the ball in the box. Again, here we see it, directness. He's not dribbling like this, okay? He's not taking the long way around. Firstly, that's not very exciting. Secondly, it actually doesn't benefit him at all, unless he's maybe trying to run down the clock. If he goes that way, he's making it so easy for him and for him to track him and, even, cover this space in there. But if he goes direct at the defender, again, he's got two exits. He can go both ways. And the closer he gets to that defender, the more he draws him in and then decides to go that way. Well, if he does that, then he's left the defender for dead and he's got a much harder job at getting back in. Okay, so he's been direct, but you might think here he's run into danger, but it's not danger yet because he's not actually lost the ball. But what this does benefit him and the team is that he's dragged 1, 2, 3 bodies, all worried about what he's going to do. Because he's so good on the ball and he's so talented, these guys are scared of him. And so that has opened up, that has made this player come from this sort of position when he was marking Enzo. He's been attracted to the ball. Just draw that. He's been attracted to the ball here, and that allows that space opened up for Enzo to then maybe shake the ball to the other side of the pitch. And there we can see it. Now, a winger isn't just about attacking. You've also got to have that sort of defensive mindset, because you will, based on how teams play with their fullbacks nowadays, you will have to track back and you will have to do the dirty work. And so having that sort of defensive contribution for his team is very important. You'll see here, his positioning is very good because he is expecting a pass from Caicedo like that. Now, this pass here isn't a very good one. We're going to see that in a minute. But he is positioned so well that if the ball is a bad pass and it goes into this player, he is close enough to be able to press it and try and win it back. But he's also in a good position to then look forward and look ahead to, if that ball does reach him, he is in an open body position to touch that ball with his right foot and drive his team up the pitch. So this middle ground here that he's taken is very good, and we're going to see that moving on. Okay, so as I said, bad pass. This player's going to make first contact, but Estevao is close enough to the ball, so it's his responsibility to go in there and press, and he's then going to win it back, okay? And he uses his body very well again to do so.
So guys, don't forget about the defensive part of the game as well. It's very important. You can't just always be thinking attack, attack, attack. If you have a fullback on your side, you have to get back and track. So I hope that was helpful, particularly if you're a winger out there and you're looking to improve your game. But also if you're a coach and you want to hone in on some more technical detail of what, good dribbling is, or how you can coach these sort of things within your team. But also, again, if you're just a fan and you just enjoy watching the game, but you want to go deeper with your knowledge and understand things on a deeper level. And if you are that type of person, then go and check out my course, 7-Day Football IQ Accelerator, in the description, where you can learn football tactics completely in 7 days. But again, if you're not ready for that yet, and that's fine, then you can download my free match analysis template, and again, I'll leave that in the description for you. On that note, guys, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like on the video as well, it does help out a lot, and drop a comment, what video do you want me to see do next, and I'll see you on the next one.